wahenga na wahenguzi hawakukosea waliponena ya kwamba oh my god, they say experience is the best teacher. I know right now we are disappointing the wahengers and they're all saying and proving them wrong. I think we have new wahengers. Yeah, I think new wahengers are coming up, but I guess this still applies. Experience is the best teacher for sure. Though other people say that you learn from other people's experience, but there's just time that you have to learn on your own. And I'm here today to share some experience that I've had in the engineering industry for the past 5 years. So 5 lessons in the past 5 years in engineering. Stay tuned. The last year has quite some surprises. The first year of engineering. So in year 1 of engineering, I think some of the lessons that I learned was I had what it took, but what I was learning in school was more controlled. This is what I mean. This was like a lesson as a designer, as a design engineer. So you see, when you're in class and you're given like assignments or projects, you're given like the parameters to use. You're given the strengths, you're given the soil unit weights, you're given all the FCK, FYK, all these parameters to use. You're given, take this to be this, take this to be this, take this to be this, take this to be this. And then when you come out here, you realize you need to actually find out those values for yourself and do tests and come up with the actual site values, the actual values that you need to use, and no one is going to tell you, take this to be this. So when I was given the first design to use, I used to write the assuming this is this, assuming FCK is this, assuming this is this, assuming the concrete strength is this. Actually I still had that campus, mind where you're given what parameters to use when you're doing a design. So that's the first lesson I learned, that I need to come up now with the parameters myself. Yeah. That was actually very shocking. But I guess now, 5 years later, I'm okay. I know how to come up with the parameters. Another lesson learned in year 1 was, oh my God, engineering doesn't pay that much. 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 Oh my God, that was so shocking. The most shocking thing. But the surprising thing is, as much as I knew engineering paid much, I didn't know how much. I didn't know how much is much. I didn't know how much is much. And I tend to think the reason why graduate engineers accept shitty salaries is because they don't even know how much is much. I think graduates actually accept whatever they're given until they get financial pressure. Then they're like, this is too much. This is actually too much. Because what happens is, you graduate, then there are few opportunities. Then if you're lucky to get in, you're like, at least other people have not gotten. And then you take whatever you get. And then you get to a point, the financial pressure is too much. You're like, this is not working out. What is going on? So, yeah. For me, the shock was in the first year. It just didn't start adding up. I'm like, no, something is not adding up. Am I an engineer? No, something is just not adding up. The third lesson that I learned in my first year is how important communication was going to be in my engineering career. Communication skills. I found myself sitting with so many people, Marion, myself, very introverted, and I need to speak up, and you realize you need to self-advocate, doing your work is not the only work you have there. You also have work to advocate for yourself and just talk to people and all that. I realized how communication was needful. very fast. I did realize that. Another thing I realized was that I couldn't still be trusted to carry out engineering responsibilities. I mean, the liability couldn't be on me, and I couldn't be trusted as an engineer yet, and I had to work under someone for 3 years. I didn't know that part of it, honestly. And I think when I started One Daily Talks, that's among the first videos that I put out there. I'm like, guys, you need to know this. But I think now that now 5 years later, okay, I've already gone through the whole process. I'm so glad I came to know about it as early as possible, so I was able to plan for it. So I didn't know I needed to still, be, you know, be under training again for 3 more years to be given a license. So that's something that I learned. Another thing that I learned in my first year in engineering. And on my first year also, I learned about the work aspect of engineering. The school, I have the knowledge, I have the technical knowledge, I'm ready to do the design, I'm ready to design the bridges, I'm ready to design the houses, I'm ready to do all these things. But what I wasn't ready for is the work dynamics. Like, I didn't know how much I needed to, there's a company policies, there's a way the company works, there's a way you need to do the reports, there's a way you need to do this. You need to, navigate the office politics. I mean, there's just so much that was so new to me. I thought I was just going there to do designs and be an engineer. But I guess there was so much more. And I think what people actually call industry education gap, there's an aspect where sometimes you find the academia doesn't really give you that enough, something like enough practical knowledge. But the gap that sometimes I feel people talk about is that you're not taught about the work dynamics, which I don't think any university can teach unless you take advantage of the attachments and the internships before you graduate. So yeah, that was another lesson that I had a whole different course to navigate office dynamics. Moving to year 2. How was year 2? My lesson, I learned about mentorship and self-development. In year 2, I learned about how lucky I was from year 1. I came to notice it in year 2, how lucky I was to have gotten a senior engineer who was interested in my self-development. So because of that, because I had that, I was able to grow quick, very fast. I learned so much. I think after my first job, the first place I worked, I was able to progress my career so fast because I was able to gain a lot of skills in structural engineering because the senior engineer I was working under was actually really interested in my career progression. And I realized that anyone who has that or gets that early in their career are able to progress very fast. So I learned that if you find someone who is able, in the office you have all kinds of engineers, and I don't know what kind of office or site, wherever, I don't know what kind of industry you work in, but normally you find engineering is a team sport. You will always have a team of different people. But then there is the person that you're working under, or whatever time you figure out. I also understand that in our engineering, different disciplines have like all different kinds of things that you can specialize in. So once you try to figure out where you're interested in, and maybe you find someone that you can work under, once that happens, if you're able to find someone who is interested in your career development, progression, and it's supposed to be like a two-way. You're supposed to be interested also in growing. You're supposed to actually do most of the work. But sometimes if you find somebody who's also interested in your progression, I tell you, you're going to grow so fast. You're going to grow fast, quick. If somebody can teach you what they learned in 10 years, it means you're gonna save yourself like I think 5 years or something. You're gonna save yourself like a lot, a major, a lot of time. And I just wanted to shout out to Engineer Dixon Weze for doing that for me. I think senior engineers, please, please create room for mentorship. Create room to mentor even one person, even one person, even one person. You guys, I'm mentoring all engineers in the world. I mean, through these videos. Have you liked? Have you subscribed? Have you shared this video with someone? I know you guys like you've been doing this for 4 years. You guys, you just come, you watch, you go. You don't subscribe, you don't share. You watch, you go, you watch, you go. 4 years. Inform, mentor, build, one DC talks. Guys, subscribe. If there is something that is benefiting you and you're getting some value from One DC Talks, please subscribe. Another thing that I learned in my second year, I got an opportunity to start doing works like going to site for inventory and condition survey, and I didn't realize how that would be physically tasking. I know it's not as physically tasking as being on site full time, like for construction, but I think even I did a TikTok video of like what I expected engineering to be and versus where I am, and I took pictures of mine measuring culverts and things like that. Yeah, so I guess I learned, and I think even this last year when we were doing another project, just inventory and condition surveys, and we were laughing at other engineers. We're like, this is a part of engineering no one tells you about for sure. You are tired the whole day, moving through the roads, the dust, all the site conditions and everything. So that was something that I learned, that I have to brace myself for something like that as long as I'm going to continue being an engineer. Yeah. So another lesson for year 2 was that I was going to need a lot of self-advocacy, because I realized that, okay, you were given this contract. The contract has expired. You're the one who's supposed to go and negotiate the next contract for yourself. You need to know the market. Okay, at that time I didn't even know anything like market salaries or market prices for engineers or things like that. But like I just realized how self-advocacy I needed to do that. I mean, there wasn't anybody who was just going to be coming and handing things to you. So you needed to go get what you needed for yourself. And oh my God, convince also. You need to work to convince. And as you want to get these things for yourself, you also have to bring out how you are actually, adding value also. It's not about you. So honestly, I learned that I needed to learn how to self-advocate, and I took major steps. I started communication training. I'm actually certified. So I went for communication classes. Took the first 3 months. I thought, no, it's not enough. It's not. I repeated the same class. willfully repeated. Like I took it again. I actually have 2 same certificates. I told myself whatever it took, I have to be good at communication, And actually, I have started just the other day. We had someone contact One DC Talks on LinkedIn, because on our service page there is actually public speaking, and we offer training. We realize how much communication is actually needful for engineers. So that training is actually available, and I've attached a link on this video. So if you need public speaking training, and this one we do in groups, it's not customized. If we customize it for you, so it's going to be so expensive. So we do it in cohorts. So for the next cohort, we have a link in the description. So just ensure don't miss out on this one. And the advantage that you have is certified communicator engineer like you. So you get two benefits. So anyway, I learned how important communication was going to be, because I need to self-advocate, negotiate, talk to clients, talk to people, talk to colleagues, collaborate with people. And oh my God, I was a very shy girl. I was a very, very, very shy girl. So believe me, I felt I needed to take that communication class twice, 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 twice. I invested in many other things, career coaching. Like I told myself, whatever it would take to figure this out, I will do it. And I'm so happy. Like so many of these things that I felt I really needed. I'm actually, whatever I know I'm competent to do, I'm offering the services for engineers. One DC Talks is a whole thing. There's one DC Build right now, doing the CVs. And I used to get my CV done. I used to do whatever it took to put me ahead. So I'm doing all these things for engineers. And the advantage that you have is that Uhandisi Build, whatever services Uhandisi Talks offers, is done by engineers. So you don't need to worry about somebody not understanding the technical sides. Let's move to the other thing that I learned on the second year. Whew. On the second year, I don't know how I came across this course, SDGs. It was offered by, I think, Coursera, Rotterdam University. Yeah, SDGs. Like, I don't know, when I came from school and I needed to figure out designs, I think in the middle of my mind, I don't know why I thought it's only codes that I need to know. Then I came to this course, SDGs, and I was like, I learned so much. I mean, there was so much information. I was like, oh my God, this is very interesting. And I was hooked, guys. I was hooked. The moment I took that course, when I finished, I couldn't stop upskilling. I've never had a problem with CPDs. I mean, there has been, okay, I know there has been like a change in CPD policy, but before that, I never had a problem with getting 50 CPDs because it was so simple. I mean, continuously learning is actually my thing. I love learning new things. So that was actually not very hard for me. So I learned that there is so much knowledge that I needed to still get, so much that I still needed to learn out there. And my degree didn't teach me everything, which it wasn't supposed to, but that I still needed to learn so much, so many interesting things that needed to happen, things that I was choosing to learn for myself. And nobody was going to grade me, so I was free to learn it because I was interested in it anyway. I was going to put the effort to learn it. Another thing that I learned on my second year actually was the importance of service. Now I got into IK mentorship, graduate engineer mentorship, professional engineer. And I got to learn so much from there, actually. Facilitating the sessions, seeing people present their reports, seeing the mentors guide them on how to do it. Doing that actually made me realize how easy that process was, and also just learning so much from people's projects and actually polishing communication and how to facilitate meetings and all that. Actually, I learned the importance of service. So those are some of the things that I was able to learn in my fourth year. Yeah, so we can actually move now to the third year, third year in engineering. Okay, what did you learn? In my third year in engineering, I went to site. And actually learned now that's where the real things happen. Now on site, I learned during Corona. I studied during Corona. So it means I didn't go for attachment or internship, and the university, in the university, it's not mandatory. It's not mandatory. So I was able to graduate without that. But my first site job was hard. But before that, actually, the engineers who used to tell me site is actually the best place to learn. Like the best engineers spend most time on site. I mean, I don't know. That was not my words. I heard it from an engineer in the office I was working. But when I went to site, I mean, I came to learn amazing things. It opened my mind in amazing ways. I have to tell you, and I know I've shared this before, I saw the way the strip footing was being placed. I don't know why that was the most amazing thing I ever saw. Strip footing, like I had designed strip footing, but that is the one I don't know why I never expected it to look like that. But wait, it was so mind blowing for me. So I learned that real engineering actually is on implementation. You know, design can be so perfect, but when you go on site, you see what's possible, what's implementable, what's like just implementing the design on site. I mean, it's exciting. You see a design come to life. Yeah, that one was quite the experience. So I learned actually the experience of the importance of having the experience in implementation of design. Even if you want to remain to be a designer, that yeah, there's also construction supervision. So that was quite the experience. But it also came with, other things, which we will look at shortly. Another thing that I learned in year three on site also was importance of the communication I was talking about, the one I took two classes. Now it was coming very handy. But I had started, I told you I started doing upskilling and I realized there's so much to learn. I think at that same time I enrolled for McKinsey Forward program, and now I was learning a whole lot of things as well. And I realized problem solving, like on site, you need actually its own real time problem. So the problem is here and you need to solve it. So that, like, site just challenges your mind in a whole different way. So I learned that I needed to be a problem solver. But let me just share one thing that I didn't know that might be helpful for you. There was also pressure. There was also so much pressure. And the pressure was that I needed to give like a lot of guidance, but also sometimes you see there is this, honestly, this is true, and it's not being disrespectful or looking down on other people's careers, but there's just a way that um the some let me say some for men or some fundis, they will look down, or not to look down really, but they will challenge you especially if you're an engineer. There is this notion that engineers are proud people, or I don't know where it came from. I don't know. I really don't know. But then what happened was there was that pressure to always know what decision to be made. So I talked to an engineer. Of course, I love consulting. Like I just love asking questions because engineering safety is everything. You need to actually, that's why your work must be under the guidance of a professional engineer. So at time I asked an engineer, professional engineer, a friend of mine. So this and this is happening. This needs to be done, and I think he sensed how pressured I was, and he actually told me, Marian, you know what? You don't have to have the answer right now. You can actually stop the work. You don't have to give the answer right now. You can actually stop and find out the right way to do it, and then you do it another time. And I was like, oh my god, yeah, oh my god. I mean, honestly, Alini Chanwa, but I really just wanted to share that maybe it can be helpful to you. Maybe that's something you're going through right now. Another thing I learned in my third year, women engineering, kada. If you're not a woman and you're watching, this is not going to last a long time. But honestly, this is actually relevant to everyone because you're likely to be a colleague of another woman on site. I happen to be like the only woman working, apart from the other women who are bringing the stones and doing the manual work. So it was a very tough place to be. And when the other women who are doing the softer manual work were not there, it was actually the only woman on that side. Plus the other person was the lady who was bringing lunch. So there was a lot of actually people making you feel that you don't deserve to be there. And they will test it and they will test you. And this, I actually had lost this. This actually got lost somewhere in my memory until the other day. A student engineer asked me about it because she went outside. At that time, I didn't know this, but now I want to share it because I think much later, I'm not saying it's what works in all situations when it comes to handling people belittling you or like feeling they have to um they have to sexually harass or maybe just God, the English word is not there. Like they feel like wanataka tu kukatia all the time. The fundis, the masons, whoever is there, as long as they are a man, wanataka tu kukatia. Yeah, or they want to. There's that, and there's also just making you feel like, what can you tell us? You're a woman. So what I think this is complicated, and I'm just asking that if you have like a better strategy, just share it in the comments. But what I've learned works is calling something out. Because what happens is sometimes you take it in and you don't call it out. Just call it out. And sometimes people say these things like they are easy, but when you're in the moment, it is very difficult, to be honest. You know, before you come and make that woman in that side feel like they don't deserve to be there, she already has questions herself because the moment she's the only woman on that side, she's already wondering why she's the only woman on that side. So it might be very, 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 very uncomfortable. And I understand that it might be very, very hard to address in the moment. And sometimes people say call it out, and you're wondering sometimes you just don't have the strength to. And I understand that. But what I realize, what I get to learn is when you feel that you can't maybe call something out in the moment because how intense the situation is, when you get an opportunity to calm down or process it, don't think, let bygones be bygones. Please address it. Just address it with whoever person, brought it up. Now, I don't know. I don't want to address this beyond my experience because I know like they could be like worse situations than what I have gone through. But I've realized that calling it out is actually what it helps because somebody knows actually, you're crossing a line here. You're crossing a line. So call it out. And sometimes, what I learned sometimes can work when you don't know what to say. Just say, stop it. Just say, stop it. Stop it. Actually, that thing is actually, in the moment, it will actually help you because just say, stop it. Don't even say no. Just say, stop it. And I think it will work on the other person to start thinking about what they said. And then, like, you're able to address it when they are, thinking about what they are going to say. But whatever happens, just call it out. Call it out. Whether you call it out in the moment or later, do it. Just do it. That's what has worked for me. So if you're watching this and something else has worked for you, please share in the comments. That was for the women in engineering. Yeah, it's quite an unfortunate experience, but yeah, for me that's how I've been able to deal with that, and that's what I was able to tell the student as well. Yeah. And also now, the other thing I was able to learn on my third year and also on site, because I was still on site on the whole of my third year in engineering, was you see the way in the office you're like, okay, I'm working on structures for this amount of time, I'll just be doing this. In the office, they're not like defined responsibility. Like almost things are just everything is almost a responsibility. Everything is scattered, almost like it's so hard to define those responsibilities. So I came also to, you know, to just be open to learning everything. And that's also the other thing, because sometimes you realize that what you need to learn, it's the masons, it's the foremen, it's the foodies who will teach you. Yes, they're the same people who might challenge you about what you actually know is true. They will come and tell you, but this is how it's done, because they saw it being done somewhere. But they are able actually to teach you so much. They have valuable lessons, skills. So you can actually learn that part of their job from them, because they're the one who knows how to do it best. So there is so much learning to be done also from other people. Yeah. So humble yourself if that's a problem for you, and just learn from whoever is there. Having that knowledge, having just knowing even how making sure the wall, your nyumba is straight, even how to hold that plumb, whatever, yeah, yeah. That's my third year for you. Third year lesson. Third year. Now on to the fourth year. Fourth year. Fourth year. Fourth year. Fourth year was about going international. I made a tough decision, but I got an opportunity to get to work for an international consultancy. And what fourth year engineering gave me was validation. Validation that I had what it took to work anywhere in this part of the world and to work on any project in any part of this world. I had the skills. And one thing about working for an international consultancy is your skill is all that matters. I'm not saying that if you're working for other places, your skill doesn't matter. But come on, we all live and work in Kenya. There's just some things that happen that you just like, that's just crazy, man. Crazy, just crazy. Corruption and all that. So I learned that what I had, the skills I had gained, that I could actually work on any project in this part of the world. And that I think that validation gave me a lot of confidence. Yeah, confidence. And right now, I think actually I can apply for a job anywhere. I'm not saying I'll get it. I trust myself too. Actually, that's the first thing you need to always overcome in your mind. Believing that you can do something. Right now, believe me, take me to whatever project. I know I can do it for sure. So, fourth year taught me that. Fourth year taught me that. Now, on to the fifth year. Fifth year. Fifth year in engineering. In my fifth year, I actually got registered as a professional engineer. But it left me with so many unanswered questions. So many questions as to whether this engineering career is worth it. Actually, that's the reality. I realized, yeah, I've been in engineering 5 years. No, I don't see. No, I don't see anything. Is this what I studied 5 years for? No, something is not right. So I started being seriously asking myself, is this engineering? Is this all? This is it? This is it? Someone who studied I don't know what is earning more money than me. Eh? You know, someone doing TikTok lives. By the way, engineers, you have to be creators. If you don't have a social media, document your work on social media, my friend. That's that's a thing. That's now a thing. That's now a thing. Okay, I've told you. So I was like, no, something has to make sense. It has to make sense. Engineering has to make sense. Right now, it has to make sense. Then I looked at engineers. You know, honestly, since I joined engineering from day one, I used to look at engineers. You know, the people will tell you, just be patient. Just be patient. Just be patient. They're like, okay, sawa, we'll be patient. But show me someone to look up to. I used to look around. I'm like, oh my God. You really don't see, I'm like, in 5 years, I want to be like that person. I want to be like that person. I want to be, that's where I want to be. Then you start asking yourself questions. You're like, hey, what? Hey, yeah. So, yeah, that's engineering for you. I've definitely done proposals and see people charge like, I don't know, 70,000 per day, their rates. But those people like have like 20, is it 20 or 40 years experience? My friend, are we supposed to die in the middle? Between now and 40 years experience. So you have to be very smart about it. For 5th-year experience, that's just like a bit of it. But I'm gonna do like a dedicated video for this. I just wanted to give you guys a sneak peek. But this is going to have its own video, yeah? Its own video dealing with 5th year. To be continued. To be continued. So these are 5 lessons, 5 years in engineering. Share yours in the comments and make sure you subscribe. Cheers.